So thanks for joining, everyone. I put the link to the Power App in the chat, so if everyone can click that. And when you should have access. If you don't, let me know. I think there's some new people that was forwarded, but it should work. And then a little prompt will pop up the very first time that you open it saying allow Microsoft to access or approve it. So just hit approve or allow or whatever that is. And I'm going to share my screen. So this is for the EPF, electronic submittal app that the SPPI team built.
For mine, it's not working. It shows almost there. The approvals connection, it shows in each sign in. Oh,
yep. So
I missed that part. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Do that. Yeah. No, that's why we're doing it, and that's why I sent it. So thanks for telling me. Everyone see my screen?
Yes.
This is what you should see at that link. So the first half of this training, I'm just going to run through kind of a demo EPF submittal, like from creating it, and then I'm going to walk you through the approval process as well. So it might not be applicable to everything that you do, but you can kind of see how it moves along the chain here. And then at the end, if we have time, I'm going to have everyone just submit a demo one to me, and you'll assign it to me, and then I'll approve it and push it through, and you can see kind of the email notifications that you get once you create it. So here, here's the app. So the app is actually live. So right now I have nothing in process, nothing in my inbox, drafts that I've been making, because the app is live. So anything I submit here, right, it'll actually kind of push it along live. So you can start using the app now. All right, if you go to admin view, you can kind of see everything that was submitted so far. So some people are using it already, which is great. For our demo purposes, we're going to do demo mode, which is this button here. So I'll click enter demo mode. So here's everything that's kind of ugly, right? But I'm just doing demo edit everything here. And then, right, you can see the ones that I've submitted that are in process. Some have been paid, marked as paid. Some are pending program approval, right? So different statuses here, kind of quick at a glance. Right, here's the program approval and then a finance officer approval. So as it moves down the chain, right, the little check marks are checked off or not. So you can kind of see where it's sitting right now, right? So for this one, right, submitted to finance officer, need the finance officer. These ones are just drafts that I started, I've been working on. So the first thing you do to submit a new EPF, you hit the plus button up here. It opens up a new EPF form here, and then your name's already populated here. All these fields are optional. You don't have to fill it all out right away or immediately. Some of the information you might not know. Right, so phone number, right? Put your phone number, right, or vendor name. I have a lot of demos. What should I call this one? Group 2 PM. So I can find that. So I'm just going to fill that in. That's how I'll track this one through here. I forgot to say, feel free to interrupt me with any questions you have, kind of quick ones. I'm happy to answer anything. If something doesn't make sense or you want me to slow down, just feel free to interrupt. Right here, you'll see this year expense incurred. It auto defaults to the current year, but the reason you can select it and go back, right, is if you're submitting something that, in January for December or something, right? So you can go back, for years changeover or something. So that's why we have that. And right now, you'll see you can choose the funding sources, right? Everything's kind of optional here. I want to show you the amounts. So right now we're limited to 2 funding sources and then 5 invoice numbers only for this EPF, right? So that's, if you have anything more than that, you'll have to use the current form, but I know we are working on expanding that to more fairly soon here, but currently you're just 2 funding strips, 5 invoices.
Hi,
right,
everyone.
so, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
My name is Louis Alarcon, and I work with SIDB, Syndemic Infectious Disease Bureau. And we're just watching you do this right now, right? We don't have to enter it ourselves or anything, not yet.
Yep,
right?
This is just demo. And then if we have time at the end, I'm going to have everyone do this just to practice where the buttons are and everything while we're on the call here, right? So if you have questions, But right
Okay.
now, yeah, just watch and then ask any questions or, that you have
Okay.
while you're watching me do this. Thanks for
All
confirming.
right. All right. Thank you.
Right, and then so for here, I'm just going to put the amounts, from the funding source. So I'll do this, and I tabbed it, went crazy. But say I did 1,000, and totaled here for 2,000. You'll notice it's highlighted yellow. That's because it wants it to match kind of the invoice number here. So it's 2,000 total, and then 0 here. So yellow means it's kind of mismatched. So you want to make sure it's matching, right? I'm just, for the purpose of this demo, you can type in anything here. So for the amounts, it's grayed out. I can't click it. I can't enter anything. So it's a calculated field, it's called. So it kind of multiplies these two together. So, right, if I had like quantity of 2 items for 500, that would be, 1,000 to kind of match up. So that's how it's calculated. They just multiply it together. So if I did 500 would be 500. So that makes sense, right? If you have like staplers or a certain item for quantity, that makes sense. Some items aren't that clear cut, right? If you have, for some reason, some invoices are weird, right? It could be quantity of 6 for a total cost of $529, for example, right? Then you're going to have to pull out a calculator and figure that out. So someone asked that question earlier, right? So if you have some weird amount, just do the quantity 1 and enter like the total amount, right? So like if you want to get that 529, and then here, right, you can make a note is 6 or something like that. So we determined that was okay. If you had like a weird number, right, with a weird quantity, you could do it like that. The purpose of this, though, I'm just doing nice even numbers for my demo, make it pretty easy. And then, right, for this one, I could do 500, and then that gets me to the 1,000, and then total matches. You'll see the yellow went away, so we're matching, so that's good. That's just a call. You could still submit it when it's not matching. It's just kind of an FYI. Any other details you can type in here. Here's where you can attach invoices, right? I just have like some sample invoices. You can choose. You can attach multiple things, right? Or any other attachments that might be relevant to this EPF.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Teresa, same bureau as Lewis, Syndemic infectious disease. So can we also attach a quote? If we have, let's say, instead of 6 and on the quote, we have 7 items, can we just do the total, and instead of putting out all the items, we can just attach the quote and do the total amount? Let's say it's 5,000 for the 6 items. Can we do that?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question, thanks. So the attachments, just scrolling down the form here, is here's where you'll enter in the approvers, right? So you could do your program director or your manager. It's just a field here, right? And then choose the finance officer. So these are the people's approvals you'll need, and you can track this. And then finance director is optional, right? If you need that or not. Deputy commissioner, right? So it's grayed out. I can't click it, but it's because it's required for $100,000 or more. And so this one's only 2,000, so it's grayed out. I can't click it. If we're over that, it would be selectable. And then same thing for commissioner for the 250,000 here. So for the purpose of this demo, sorry, go on.
Sorry. Hey, this is
good.
Rabia. For the finance officer and director, do you just kind of pick whoever, or is it bureau specific?
I think it's bureau specific.
Okay.
But it's however you're doing it now, right? Because it's kind of the paper form.
Yeah. So like right now, there's like 3 finance officers that typically I've worked with on the paper process of it. So would I just pick one of them and then it just goes to whoever? Okay.
Yeah, and you can always go back and change it, I think. We can test that real quick and see if you can change the approver or not. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to choose myself to kind of walk you guys through kind of how that looks, right? But if you're just submitting an EPF, like this is going to be essentially the end of your process for this. So I choose the submitter. Sometimes you don't need the finance director, so it's kind of optional. If there's a ship to, if you want to add that information.
I'm sorry, I had another question, sorry.
Yeah.
What calls for the finance director approval?
That I'm unsure of. It's a good question. I think it's just, if anyone else knows, jump in, but nobody's asked that through the training. So good question, but I'll write that down. Can get back to you for sure. And then once you're done with all these steps, you have to hit the save button up here, because right now it's just you're in a draft mode, so you want to save everything you did. Hit the save up in the corner. So that's like kind of the big, like it's not intuitive, right? You're going through filling out and then you're at the end. So you got to remember, go back to the top and save it. Now you're in a draft mode.
So which one is to save with the little pencil?
So
Oh,
it
the-
changed, right? So
Oh, okay, from the disk
it's
to the
the
pencil.
floppy disk.
Okay.
And then it changes to that. So right now I can't, it's like kind of draft mode. I can't, everything's grayed out. I can't edit it. To do that, you have to hit the pencil, and then everything you can go back in and change it,
right.
and then you save it again, right? Let's say you do a lot of invoices for the same vendor or whatever, right? You can hit copy and it just kind of copies everything over. So if most of the stuff's same, you can quick do a copy of one. That's this button. We also have this comment button here, which is a neat feature. If you have any questions, right, it's like, hey, I need the what is the vendor code? I can't type, but just pretend I can. And then you can tag somebody. I'll actually send them an email and direct them to this comment section. And then it goes, you submit, it goes here, right? Anyone you tag here, it'll send them an email. You can tag multiple people and send them, and just kind of bug them, and it keeps the conversation in here if you have questions or if you get feedback, right? I'm just going to go back real quick. Let's say, I had a meeting, I had to run. You can see all my drafts here that I made. Here's my group 2 EM, the one I just did, right, the 2000. So it's just kind of in draft, right? It's just sitting here. I can come back to it anytime. But let's say we're good. Everything's good, right? There's nothing filled out. I'll hit submit for approval. And then I'll show you kind of so it'll send an email out for an automatic approval from whoever you put in for kind of the manager. Let's see if my email, sometimes it's a little slow. So here's for the comments, right? I tagged myself, right? So here's what it looks like. I'll just show you guys. You've been tagged in a comment. You can click here and it'll take you to the request. You can see my typed message. And then going here, here's the approval, right? Since I put myself, it's Edwin to Edwin. Not super helpful for this, but it'll make more sense if there's other people in the chain. So the manager you put here for approval, they'll see this, and then they have to click this link to either approve or review or comment. So it's kind of this automate screen, which is a little different than what we've been looking at. But the approver, they'll just see kind of a name, not too much detail here, the total amount, vendor name. But there's a link here, not super clear, but they'll have to click here. And that takes them to the form that you created. And then from this form, right, they could add comments or anything. They can't change anything, so they can either approve it or reject it. So in rejecting, we'll just send it back, and you'll have to like fix it, right? And there's going to be they can type in a comment if it's rejected. We'll say for the purpose of this, we're good here. Comments are optional. So I approved it, and then here's this group 2. So it's changed from the top inbox to this in process pending program approval down here. It's a little slow to update, like kind of going faster here. You have to click the refresh button, or you can like refresh your whole browser. But now it changed to submitted to finance officer. So I'll show you what that, it comes back to me because I put myself as the finance officer as well, but maybe the financer would probably be a different person, right? But they get this email, and then the finance officer will have to click the link. And now they'll see the form that you actually submitted in the app. So this is what the finance officer will see. Right, they could add comments here. They could see the comment history. The finance officer has the option. They can actually go in and edit. Right, if there's a typo or something they need to fix, finance officer can either add information or edit things themselves here by clicking that pencil button. Same type of thing that I was showing before, basically. And then they also have the option they can return it to the initiator, or they could submit it for approval as well. So they would review it. Let's say it looks all good. Sorry, is there a question?
Go ahead. I'll ask it at the end.
Okay, no worries. And then I just went back to this other tab, right? And so then if I was since I'm a finance officer assigned to me, you can look at the finance officer dashboard, and I can see things submitted to me as the finance officer. So here it is. This is how like a finance officer would go in here, and they would see everything submitted to them, and then they could click these and I'll approve it from this dashboard as well. but I access it from the email. Either way is fine. It's doing it the same way. Let's say this all looks good. I will click, as a finance officer, they'll click submit for approval. That's what I'm doing here. Here it is, this yellow one. Let's refresh. See, now it says approve. So like as the initiator, you can like kind of keep track of your in-process ones, right? So now finance officer approved it. Now it's green, it's approved. Let's see, and then it comes through as an email. I think. All right, and now that it's all approved, it comes through, and then as a finance officer, you have to do, you have to sign it to a clerk is kind of the final step here. So the form is a little different, right? It's still kind of the same, but now I have this clerk assigned button. I have the option to send it to the clerk. It's grayed out because you need to assign the clerk. So you have to come in here and add the clerk that you're signing it to, and this is like who you're going to send it to. And it's going to, once you send it, it's going to send like an automated email with everything attached to the clerk, and you'll be copied on that as well. So you'll want to assign it to the clerk by clicking that pencil button. You can mark it as urgent. That's an option in the current process, right? If there's anything that you need to edit, you can still add things in at this point. And then in order to send it to the clerk, you have to add them, then click the save button. And then you can either return it if there's a problem, you didn't like it, comments. Let's say I'm good with it, we'll send it to the clerk. You'll see the status here as the initiator, right? This group 2 EM sent to clerk. And I just want to show you guys what the email looks like. Right, and then here everything's kind of attached. It's been approved and submitted for processing. So it's going to copy the clerk that we just added, the initiator, and then the finance officer. Those will all be people. I'll just show you guys kind of what. So this is what the EPF app, right, auto-generated for us, right? It has a PV number for us to use, right? And all the information, if I entered it, it would all be here for the clerk to see. And then we're working on right now, so that's kind of the end of the process, right? The next phase for this is going to be getting the clerks in here as well. So we're working on that, but I just want to show you kind of what the plan is and what that'll look like. So you can kind of follow along, right? Because like a lot of times it can get held up, right, with the clerks maybe. So here's my group 2 one, the 2000. So the plan is they're not going to do this now, but the clerks will have to come in here and mark it as submitted. And they're the next group I'm going to train once everyone starts using this. And then as long as they make it right as submitted, the clerk will have to do that, but then it'll show submitted to FMPS. So you can kind of follow along with the clerk here. And then the clerks, once it's submitted and paid, they can click mark as paid, and then it'll show paid for you here in the app. So you'll like have access. And then the cool thing here, the clerk, they click this little line button, they can actually show you the invoices and the paid date and the paid amount. They'll be able to go in here. So real quick, so I click the little line button here, the stack, and then the pencil button, they can go in here and edit the paid date and paid amount. And this is like for tracking informational purposes, right? So the next plan is going to be to train the clerks to start using this, but this is the plan for the next phase. But it's more of an FYI for us to be able to follow along. Let's check my notes, but I think that, and then there's this cool, they just added this PDF button. You can, look at the text that says send a PDF copy to your email. So if you ever needed it, out of this kind of app and you just wanted a hard copy, essentially, you click that, and it'll shoot you an email with it attached. So you have that option. If it ever comes, I can show it, but I just tested it and it worked earlier today. Here it is.
So Edwin, this is
Yep.
Lewis again.
Right, and here's your form in a PDF.
Okay.
Sorry, Lewis, go on.
All right. So is this what we're going to be replacing our paper EPFs from now on? Do we start using this now?
So the rollout, so it's live. You can start using it now. The rollout
Okay.
plan is, you know, kind of start a trial period,
Right.
starting June 1st, like through July. Make sure
Okay.
there aren't any like hiccups, right? So we'll accept like both kind of this app and the paper
Yeah.
or current process. And then the goal, you know, pending no issues found, major
Mhm.
issues, be starting like July 1st, just
Okay.
only using this EPF one.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're limited to 2 funding strips and 5 invoices, right? So anything more than that would have to use the current process.
Okay.
I have a question. I thought we could use, sorry, Louis, go ahead. Were you finished?
Yeah.
I thought we could do more than 6 invoices. I thought we could use the quote if we needed to use, let's say, 10 items or 10 different items. Let's say we need pencils, staplers, and I don't know, computer, whatever, 10
Right.
different
Yeah,
things.
if it's something like that, yeah, I think you can use the quote. Let me confirm that though. It should be fine. I
Okay.
know it's gonna be increased relatively soon here. That was just approved for like, you know, development work. So they're gonna be adding, you know, additional invoices now. It's just kind of a hard code limitation of the app, but we want to add more for sure.
Yeah, that would be good to know too. And then too, if let's say we use Ryan White funds and we don't know the actual number, can we put the amount like you were doing and put the actual total amounts or the different amounts for one funding? Let's say we're only using one funding, the Ryan White, and it's $5,000. Can we leave the other spaces blank and just do the total amount and then just enter in the comment using Ryan White funds? For the finance officer? Would that go
question.
through?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
Let me take a note. I can get back to you.
Okay. And then when you get a chance, I didn't see where you click because I was writing something down where you
Sure.
click to submit the actual EPF. I saw like the disk, the garbage, and then little icon, and then the copy button.
Yeah.
Was there that submit for approval button there that I missed, and that's the one you clicked?
Once you hit save, yep, you click right here at the top.
After you
well.
save it?
Yep.
Okay. So it's save and then, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Save
Good
and
question. Yeah, until you do a couple of these, right? It's not not the most intuitive with like some buttons, but once you start doing the hang of it, it's like kind of second nature. So feel free, especially the first ones, if you have any questions, you know, message me, call me, anything. Even if it's as little, right? If you can't find a button, I'm happy to help, right? It's kind of a whole new system, so I'm here for support.
one more question.
Yeah.
Once we complete the form, like now, and Louis, you can chime in, since I'm new to this. We complete the form, we would take it to the finance officer, and then that will be it. Is that going to be the same thing, or you were mentioning copying
Yep,
or
same
assigning it
thing.
to a clerk? We don't have to do that, right?
No, that's not you guys
Okay.
typically, but this training where there's like a bunch of people in the training, so I just want to show kind of the full
Yes.
features of this. But yes, you won't be doing that.
Okay,
Correct.
great. I just want to make sure,
For
since I'm
sure.
still learning, if it's going to
Yep.
be the same process, but now on E mode.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Good clarifying.
Hey, Edmund, I had a question.
Yep.
A couple actually.
Sorry, I'm not looking at hands. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. And apologies if I had already ran through this. But for Exhibit A's, do we also just attach that, like where you would attach the quote or invoice?
Right. Good question. So yeah, one thing. Sorry, I forgot to note here in my notes though. So right now we don't support Exhibit A's, B's, or encumbrances in the app.
Oh, okay.
But that was another one that was approved, right? That's like next up on the development schedule, and it was just approved. So I know they're working quickly to add that in.
Okay.
I don't have a timetable yet, but I know they're pretty quick, and they want to. It's definitely like next step.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, and then so it looks like it's only for this system is only working currently with current City of Chicago vendors. So for the PO number, is that something that the finance officer will add, or should we come with that information?
No, I mean, the finance officer can add it. So I mean, probably the more you have, the better you can enter it in. But But yes, yeah, if you don't have it, just like push it forward and be like, hey, we need the PO number, please like provide or something, right in the comments or whatever. So it's not like required to submit it or anything.
Okay, but they can edit that field essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And then I would love to have people on my team be able to submit these to me because I'm like the program approver, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like I won't be able to fix any of their work because the program level, like the program approver, can't edit any of the fields.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why that's the case, or like could that be changed? I'd love to understand
I
that.
think I don't know either. That's a good question. I'll write that down as well. I'm sure there's a reason. I wasn't involved in like the requirements or making the app, so I'm not sure offhand right now. But let me ask them because that's a good question. Any other quick questions here? We have 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, sorry. One last question.
No, you're good.
Same thing for the funding strip. Does the program need to input the funding strip, or do we just tag finance and be like, we want it out of this grant, this line, then they put in?
I think either one could work.
Okay.
Right, because there is a chance for them to like go in and enter it, and you can do comments or notes or anything there too. Right, so maybe if yours has it and you can copy it over, it'll be there, right? But if not, yeah, you might have to ask.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks. So real quick, we have 4 minutes. While everyone's here, if you have time, I want everyone to click the link that I sent in the chat earlier and go to the app. I just want to make sure everyone A has access and B can like kind of submit a demo one to me. So everyone click it. When you go here, click enter demo mode and it'll turn yellow. With demo mode, you can't really, because it's live, right? So we could actually submit things. I'll start going forward. So go to demo mode. And then once you're there and you're yellow, click this plus button in the upper left. And then don't really fill out too much. The only thing you really need to fill out is demo name. So do like demo and then do your name. So I can like kind of track it along, right? So right, I'm Edwin, so I'll do demo Edwin. And then if you want, scroll all the way to the bottom. Don't do anything else, just for purposes of speed. And then assign program director and finance officer to me. And then save it and submit it. And then I'll kind of just approve it and push it through for you, so you can kind of see the email, what it looks like coming through on like the other end once you submit something. I just want to make sure everyone's kind of used to clicking the buttons, or if you have any questions real quick in the last couple minutes.
Edwin?
Yeah.
I clicked enter the demo mode. Do I hit the new draft? I hit the little plus sign, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, mine initiator, vendor. It's not giving me those steps that you just did, but
Then once you submit it, you're welcome to leave. Thank you for joining. And sorry, who was just talking? You say you
Jose.
can't see some steps, Jose? Do you
Yeah,
want to share your
it
screen?
only has my name as the initiator.
Yep, that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then for vendor name, type in just like demo and then like write Jose, your name there. Just so I can track it. Otherwise, if everyone does demo, I won't know what's what. And then scroll to the bottom and then assign it to me. So then I can just track everything. Edwin McDonough.
One last question, Edwin.
Yeah.
The link, is that going to be emailed to us so we can click on it?
So after, I'm going to send a follow-up email.
Okay.
with the link. The link I put in the chat though is live. You can just bookmark that. That's a good one. You can use that. But I'll send a
Okay.
link kind of with a quick recap and
Okay.
you know, a link to this video and then like an official training video also from the vendor who made this.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, once you're done, you can feel free to leave. I'll just stay on if anyone has any last questions, but thank you everybody for joining. And like I said, feel free to reach out any other questions when you start using it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Hey,
Thanks,
thank
Edwin.
you.
Edwin, quick question
Yep.
for you. Will it prompt you? I had added in the chat, but will it prompt you if you don't have the right vendor name or address or any of that information?
It won't. It's not like smart or anything like that.
Oh, okay. So you
unfortunately.
just got,
Yeah.
we got to make sure you have all that. Right.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a
Alright.
good idea though. Use some AI there or something.
Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, the vendors listed at a different name and stuff like that. It gets complicated. But anyways,
Yep.
okay. That's good to know. All right. Thank you, Edwin.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you too.